Hello out there. How's everybody doing? Is everybody's favorite conservative in New York, Christopher Wright, here to present you with another one of my infamous Walk and Talk videos. Again, of course, if you enjoy the content, remember to like and subscribe, and please feel free to share. Today we have a very special Walk and Talk for you. I got a special guest with me. We're in a special area, Central Park, New York. First time out here doing a Walk and Talk.
Very green.
Very green, very green. And the guest I have with me is a gentleman that I met about a year ago almost at the Young Black Leadership Summit in DC. Me and him did an interview together. I recommend checking it out. I'm going to have the link on the description, and I'm also going to have, you can check the video after the video's over. You can click on the box. But I'll introduce him now and let him tell a little about himself.
So hi, my name is Chandler Crump. I'm 14 years old. I'm a conservative from Georgia, and I like to speak out about things, little issues that will really make a big impact in the future. And so a lot of these things add up, and I think that if there's no one out there to speak about it and translate it to a younger audience, that things might not go very well in the future. And so me and there's a few others, but we're trying to work to make sure that our future doesn't go the way that the progressives want it to.
Yeah, see, and you see, he's a sharp kid, man. And this is the next generation coming up. And you guys saw my previous videos. I mentioned this. Some people in my comment section were saying, "Chris, I like what you're doing, man. I love what you're doing, man. But I'm worried because the youth, I feel like they're going so far left, they're gone." And I told them, there's a young group of conservatives out there in the shadows, and they're coming up, and they're going to be the next generation. They're going to help usher in this new wave of conservatism. And this is one of the young gentlemen I was telling these people about, Chandler Crump. When I say like I said, these guys are young, they're educated. They're internet savvy. I mean, these guys, this is the internet generation we're talking about here.
It's a very important thing to be internet savvy, because if you're not out there, and I know some people think being on Facebook is internet savvy. It's not internet savvy. You have to be on each and every platform, and I know there's censorship and stuff, and we can get a little bit more into that a little later on, but you have to be on each and every platform and firing on all cylinders if you really want to get your message out there.
Exactly. And see, that's the key factor. And see, that's what we're doing. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing with, my YouTube channel. Chandler got a YouTube channel as well. We're going to get all the information out to everybody out there, but we are using the internet as our weapon. You remember the meme wars in the 2016 election, how that was going, how people were using memes, live streaming, getting content out there. And like Chandler said, that's why they're trying so hard to silence us, to censor us, because they know that we're spreading the truth, and the younger generations are picking up on it, because like I told you earlier, they're an internet generation. Their news source isn't the mainstream media. Their news source is YouTube. They'll hop right on there, listen to people like me, Anthony Brian Logan, Magnificent, all this, they go right to them for their news source.
But that's not to say that they completely ignore modern news sources like CNN or MSNBC or Fox, but it really means that they don't take everything each and every one of them says for truth, 100%. They do their own research, and they use a wide variety of programs and different platforms like YouTube to get their information. And so it's a wide array, not just one source like some other generations might have.
Yes, very true, very true. And how do you feel, Chandler, when it comes to Gen Z and conservatism? Do you feel like your generation is a generation that's more leaning towards the right, or do you feel like you guys are more Democrat or moderate? What do you feel?
Well, I think that when it comes to social issues, Generation Z is one of the most progressive generations there is. Now, see, some of you that may be a bad thing, but we're in New York right now, and when we're filming this, it's the end of Pride Month. And so if you're walking around, you're going to see a lot of rainbows and a lot of people, and Generation Zers are one of the most accepting generations when it comes to that thing, second only to millennials. But that's because the millennial generation was the founding generation for all this stuff. And so socially, Generation Z is a lot more accepting of people like that. But when it comes to politics and security and the economy, Generation Zers are way more conservative, especially because of the era they grew up in. A lot of Gen Zers, most of them in fact, grew up during the Obama administration, which was 2008 to 2017. And so growing up during that era made them a lot more conservative when it comes to their money, because their parents had to live through an era where taxes were high and the housing crisis, just a lot of stuff that added up economically that resulted in a lot of them wanting to be more fiscally responsible. And so thus you have Generation Z, which is fiscally responsible. When you're fiscally responsible, you like to be responsible about a few other things too.
Exactly, see? And also what I'm noticing about your generation as well, Chandler, is when I speak to you guys, regardless of what side you're on, if you're on the left or right, when I speak to this younger generation, they're more willing to listen to what we have to say. When I speak to my peers, especially when it comes to things about conservatism, they don't want to hear none of it. They just, they hear the T word, Trump, boom, game over. They're upset, they're screaming.
That's a great thing. That's a great thing about this younger generation of Generation Zers. They're a lot more open-minded than previous generations were. And they're a lot more open to learning new things, and a lot more open to having their mind blown. That's a lot of things. That's what they like. They love to be exposed to new ideas.
I like that, mind blown, and and like I said, getting red pills, man. And I notice with a lot of these young people, when I speak, when they listen, I always continue to get more knowledge. And they, like I said, they're at age where their mind's like a sponge. Well, they just hear what you got to say and really take it in. And since they're the internet generation, they immediately, what they do is they just, immediately they pick up on what you're saying, do research, and they go around to the web, man, because like I said, when they hear something, they don't just say, oh yeah, this is the truth, and it's not their head and believe it. They said, no, okay, since I'm the internet generation, I'm going to go to the source and see what's right and see what's wrong. And they go right to the web, and they go to their sources to confirm the information, which is key as well, because a lot of these millennials, my peers, they don't do that. They just hear information from the TV, nod their head, and that's game over. So this generation is the one that's going to do the research and look and check what's what and what's truth and what's not.
Yeah, let's keep walking. Let's keep talking about this, because I think it's really pertinent that we dig in and show the differences between Generation Z. Let's go to the left here. Generation Z it's different than a lot of other generations. And that's because they also grew up during an era in which technology. Now, millennials grew up during an era of technology, but Gen Zers grew up immersed in that technology, which results in something that's different than what millennials grew up during. And so I think you can speak to this. You grew up during, like the simpler Macs and the computers and the flip phones.
I remember when AOL came out. I'm showing my age a little bit.
That was before I was even born, I believe.
Oh yeah, I believe.
AOL shut down recently.
Yeah.
But I grew up during the era of iPhones and MacBooks, Android phones, and Windows computers, game consoles, all of that. Instantaneous access to all the information you could ever want in the world. And that's what I grew up in.
Yeah,
So you can see how that's different for Gen Zers than millennials.
And Chandler makes a very good point there. Like I said, that's why I kept seeing. I said in this video, I said about 3 or 4 times, the internet generation. Because, like I said, I grew up on technology. I think we were the technology. My generation base was a technology-based generation. When I was coming up, they had, DVD players coming out. They had, we started off with VCRs, cassette tapes, and they get CD players, portable CD players. So we were getting more portable in my generation. But I remember when the internet just came out. So what happens with that, since when I talk to my peers about politics, they get all the information, most of the information from the news, from the mainstream media, television set, because we grew up on the television. And, with Chandler, him growing up on that internet generation, these guys, not only do they do the research on the internet, they also know how to use the internet. They're very savvy. Because what I'm noticing is they have a lot of these young people, they have a lot of already got a base already of followers that listen to what they gotta say on the internet service, and they also know how to edit, man. They're making great videos, doing great footage, man. I'm watching them, and I'm a technology guy myself, but I watch some of the stuff these young people are doing. I'm just like, whoa, what the heck, man? Like, you gotta show me that, man. Show me that trick, So I'm loving that these guys, this newer generation, is leaning to the right, leaning to our side, and the right side of history, I like to say. And I can't wait, to work with them, hopefully, when they, in the future, to help them build their audience up, man. Because as you guys know, I'm all about Gen Z, man.
Yeah, I'm all about Gen Z as well. And there's a lot of other Gen Z content creators, a lot of other Gen Z politicians or influencers, just a lot of them out there. And they're not as big as some others are, but I think as time goes on, these Gen Zers are going to pop out like out of nowhere and just get really big. And we're going to be like, wow, I'm really proud of these kids. And when you're going to be proud of these kids, you're going to be very proud, because they're so young, but they're already doing so much. And I think access to the internet and access to all the information they'd ever want to know really inspires them to get things going without having to wait another 4 years and go to college. Some kids aren't even going to college. They're going from high school and then just getting things done right after that.
Yep.
And I think that's what's causing a lot of younger people to get things going now.
Wow, man. And see, this is what I'm telling you guys about. I keep telling you guys, this is the younger generation here. This is the future. Don't feel like, there's no hope. Some people I talk to seem like it's hopeless when it comes to the younger generation and the future of this country.
They think the culture war is lost.
Yes,
but Gen Z is the new wave.
Conservatism is the new counterculture. Remember that, folks. Remember that. That's an important saying.
That sounds like a title.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds like a title. Look at that. So, hey, you guys, and I don't know if Chandler has anything more he wants to say. Anything?
If you want to follow me and see what I'm doing next, because we're doing a lot, you can check out my Twitter. It's @RealCCrump, although Twitter is doing some strange things, and I'll have some more information on the censorship and the things they're doing, but later on. But you can follow me there @RealCCrump. You can follow me on Instagram, same thing over there @Chandler.Crump. Parlay is a very good place to go if you're looking to get. Yeah, I am @Chandler over there. I got in there early, so I got that. So just check me out there. I have a YouTube channel as well. Just look up Chandler Crump. Got like 20-something thousand. You can check me out there, and you can subscribe, see my videos. I'm working very hard getting those videos out there.
Yes.
And aside from that, I think that's it for me.
All right, well, Chandler, man, I just want to say, man, Chandler's coming down to New York to visit. I said when he came, he reached out to me. I said, I got to get him on video. We got to do a video together, man. It's a sharp young man. I interviewed him at YBLS because I just had to get him on camera.
Yes,
and I'm so glad that he reached out to me again, and we're staying connected, man, because, you know, this is a generation that, you know, when they come up, man, I don't want them to forget. You guys remember this face? Remember the guy that was reaching out to y'all back in the day, you know? So when I'm a little older man walking around, you know, you guys remember who I am. So
this guy was the first person to ever interview me, period. Like, so if anyone ever asks in the future, who was your first person to interview me, I'm going to say conservative in New York, Chris Wright.
Hey, what more can I say? I do the Jordan shoulder shrug on that one, you know. I saw Jordan play. Y'all wearing the Jordans. I watched him play, so I had to do the Jordan shoulder shrug. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I really
and before we go, I'll catch you next time, free thinkers. Don't forget to spread the virus of intelligence.
And, of course, God bless everybody out there. God bless America. Adios.